Ladies, every sunrise is a gift, but it also comes with a challenge. The challenge is not just to live, but to grow. To wake up stronger than you were yesterday. To refuse to be the same woman year after year and still call that living. Life will gladly hand you comfort like a soft pillow, but growth will hand you a hammer and tell you to build yourself. That's why the women who rise, who lead, who shine, are never the ones waiting for opportunity to knock. They are the ones creating it quietly in the unseen hours when no one is watching. And here's a truth some of you might need to face. If you're not stretching, you're shrinking. If you're not becoming better, you're becoming bitter. This is not just another dose of motivation. This is your wake-up call. The world isn't sitting still, waiting for you to feel ready. It's moving with or without you. Every single day you hesitate is a day you'll never get back. So today, I'm not here to wrap you in comfort. I'm here to challenge you. Because when a woman makes the choice to grow every single day, she becomes unstoppable, not just in this life, but in the legacy she leaves behind. Self-reflection is the silent engine of growth, the force that works behind the scenes shaping the woman you are becoming. It doesn't shout, it doesn't beg for applause, and it doesn't arrive gift wrapped in recognition. It is deeply personal, sometimes uncomfortable, and it demands that you face the truth about yourself without turning away. Every day offers you a mirror, not just the one that shows your face, but the invisible mirror that reflects your actions, your choices, your thoughts, and the energy you've been putting out into the world. In that reflection, you see who you really are. Not the image you let others see, but the woman you are in the quiet, private moments when the world isn't watching. When a woman commits to self-reflection, she takes back the steering wheel of her life. It's easy to drift through days, weeks, even years, without ever pausing to ask where you're headed. Life will distract you with business, pulling you into repetitive routines until they start to feel like fate. But self-reflection snaps you out of autopilot. It makes you stop and ask, not out of insecurity, but out of clarity. Am I living in line with the woman I want to be? Growth doesn't start with doing more. It starts with seeing more. Seeing the patterns that help you and the ones that hold you back. Seeing the people who lift you higher and the ones who slowly chip away at your self-worth. Seeing the habits that nourish your mind, body, and soul, and the ones that drain your potential drop by drop. Without this vision, life becomes an endless loop of trying harder without ever moving closer to where your heart truly wants to be. Self-reflection is rarely comfortable because it strips away the illusions you've been hiding behind. It forces you to face the truth. Maybe you haven't reached certain goals, not because the world is against you, but because you've been avoiding the work, the discipline, or the sacrifices needed. It might show you that the comfort zone you've built isn't a shelter, but a prison disguised as safety. But here's the beauty in that discomfort. Once you see clearly, you can choose differently. You stop living as a prisoner to old habits and fears, and you start living from awareness. Awareness is the birthplace of change. A woman who practices self-reflection knows that growth isn't just about hitting big milestones. It's about becoming a better version of herself day after day. She refuses to let years pass without progress. She uses self-reflection like a compass, always adjusting her path to stay true to her values, her vision, and her highest calling. When challenges come, she doesn't just react. She pauses, looks inward, and asks, "What is this moment here to teach me?" She understands that the real answers are rarely found in the world's noise, but in the stillness within her. Self-reflection also deepens self-respect. When you take the time to understand your decisions and their consequences, you begin to trust yourself more. You stop chasing other people's approval because you are rooted in the truth of who you are. This isn't arrogance, it's certainty. The quiet, unshakable confidence that comes from knowing you have looked at yourself honestly, made the necessary changes, and chosen your actions with purpose. You're not just reacting to life, you're shaping it with precision. Every day gives you a chance to practice this. It doesn't need hours of meditation or complex rituals. Sometimes it's as simple as taking 10 minutes at night to ask yourself, What did I learn today? Where did I rise? Where did I fall short? And how can I do better tomorrow? Over time, those small moments create huge shifts. You'll start noticing patterns sooner, correcting course faster, and living each day with sharper focus. The truth is, a woman who refuses to self-reflect will eventually be forced to. Life has a way of putting a mirror in front of you, whether you're ready or not. It might come as repeated failures, unfulfilling relationships, cycles of disappointment, or a quiet but constant sense that you're stuck. But the woman who chooses self-reflection early will see the warning signs, understand what needs to shift, and make the change before regret takes hold. Self-reflection is not about beating yourself up or obsessing over mistakes. It's about looking at reality with clear eyes, no sugarcoating, no denial, and using that truth as fuel to grow. It's an act of self-love disguised as self-discipline. It's saying, I value my life too much to live it on autopilot. And when you value your life, you stop tolerating what shrinks you. You stop giving your time to what tears you down. You stop lowering your standards just to fit into spaces that were never built to hold your greatness. The more you self-reflect, the more your growth becomes intentional instead of accidental. You're no longer hoping to be better someday. You're shaping yourself into better every day. That's how you break the cycles that have trapped generations. That's how you rise above limitations others have accepted as just the way things are. That's how you look back and realize you're not the same woman you were a year ago. Not because life changed you, but because you chose to change yourself. And here's something important. Self-reflection isn't a one-time breakthrough. It's a daily choice. It's not only for the hard days when you're struggling, but also for the good days when things seem perfect. Because even in success, you must ask, am I still aligned? Am I still growing? Am I still true to my purpose? Without that check-in, it's easy to drift into comfort, to start coasting on old achievements instead of pushing toward new ones. Self-reflection is about ownership. Owning your thoughts, your actions, your decisions, and your path. It takes away the excuses that blame everyone else for where you are. You can't control everything that happens, but you have full control over how you respond and how you grow from it. Moving from blame to ownership is one of the most powerful shifts a woman can make. It changes you from a passenger into the driver of your own destiny. When self-reflection becomes part of your daily life, growth stops being a faraway dream. It becomes your way of living. You stop waiting for a new year, a new season, or the right moment to start. You start now, right here. That is the real secret to unstoppable progress. Not waiting for the perfect time, but making the time you have right now perfect for change. The woman who lives with self-reflection understands she is both a work in progress and a masterpiece at the same time. She doesn't run from the parts of her that need healing. She faces them with courage because every lesson learned is another step toward her highest self. And in doing so, she inspires others, not by pretending she's flawless, but by showing she's real, accountable, and committed to becoming better every single day. That is the heart of growth. Not the glamorous moments where everyone cheers, but the quiet ones when you face your truth and decide, I can do better. I will do better. And then you follow through. Because discipline asks for sacrifice before it offers its rewards. The strength that comes from daily discipline reaches far beyond physical stamina or career success. It shapes your mind, teaching you patience and inner strength. It shows you how to keep going even when progress feels invisible. It builds the kind of mental grit that refuses to quit just because things became difficult. And in a world that constantly tempts you with shortcuts and quick fixes, this grit becomes your biggest advantage. Every act of discipline is an act of self-respect. When you keep the promises you make to yourself, you start trusting yourself more. You no longer depend on outside motivation to take action because you've proven to yourself again and again that you can follow through. That trust in yourself becomes a quiet, unshakable confidence no one can take away. You walk differently, speak with more certainty, and make choices with more clarity because you know you can rely on your own commitment. Discipline also helps you see your priorities more clearly. When you decide to do something every single day, you begin to see what truly matters to you and what doesn't. You become more protective of your time because you know every distraction is stealing from your progress. You stop trying to please everyone because you realize chasing approval will pull you away from the consistency you've worked so hard to build. Discipline teaches you to value depth over noise, results over excuses, and progress over appearances. One of the most powerful things about daily discipline is that it grows over time. In the beginning, the results may seem small, even invisible, but as the days turn into weeks and the weeks into months, your effort builds a force too strong to ignore. That is the magic of consistency. It multiplies results in a way that short bursts of effort never can. A single day of discipline may not change your life, but 100 days will. 1,000 days will transform you completely. Daily discipline also makes you stronger when facing setbacks. Life will bring delays, failures, and unexpected problems. Without discipline, those moments can feel like the end. But when discipline becomes part of who you are, you see setbacks as detours, not dead ends. You keep moving because you've trained yourself to show up no matter how you feel. Discipline makes quitting harder than continuing because you've built a rhythm that naturally carries you forward. It's important to remember discipline is not perfection. You will miss days. You will have moments when you fall short. But a woman with discipline does not let a stumble turn into a fall she never recovers from. She gets back on track quickly because she knows one missed day won't destroy her progress, but giving up will. Her goal is not to never fail, but to never stay down when she does. Daily discipline also changes how you see time. When you live it consistently, you stop wasting days waiting for the right moment to start. You understand the only right moment is now. You stop underestimating small actions because you've seen how they add up. You stop living for weekends or the next big break because you've learned to create progress, even in ordinary days. The beauty of discipline is that it spreads into every part of your life. If you train your mind and body to show up for a workout every morning, that same mindset will help you stay focused on your career goals. If you teach yourself to save money regularly, that same patience will help you build strong relationships. Discipline is not just a skill. It's a way of life that shapes your entire being. Motivation fades, but discipline stays. Motivation is a spark, exciting, but it burns out quickly. Discipline is the steady flame that keeps burning even after the excitement is gone. It's the habit of showing up for yourself again and again until what once felt hard becomes second nature. And when you reach that point, you don't have to fight yourself to stay committed. You simply live it. Daily discipline is also the foundation of freedom. It may sound strange, but the more disciplined you are, the more freedom you have. When you control your choices and actions, you are no longer controlled by impulses, moods, or other people's demands. You free yourself from living reactively because you've built a structure that supports your dreams. That freedom allows you to focus on what truly matters without being pulled off course. Daily discipline is a gift you give your future self. Every act of discipline is a seed planted today that will grow tomorrow. The woman you are becoming will thank you for the workouts you didn't skip, the hours you chose to learn instead of scroll, the boundaries you enforced, and the focus you kept. She will be stronger, wiser, and more capable because of the choices you make now. Discipline is not about rules or restrictions. It's about alignment, aligning your daily actions with your deepest values and highest vision. It's about proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you think. And when that becomes your normal, strength is no longer something you chase, it becomes part of who you are. The people you let into your life are not just companions, they are either builders or breakers of your energy. Every relationship, whether personal, professional, or casual, carries an energy that either fuels your growth or slows you down. Protecting your circle is not arrogance, it's wisdom. It's about being intentional with the company you keep, because your environment will either help you grow or quietly drain you. A woman serious about her growth knows not everyone can go with her into every season of life. Some people belong to your past, not your future. They may love you, but they may not love your growth, especially if your growth makes them uncomfortable or reveals their own refusal to change. That's why you must notice not just who loves you, but who lifts you, inspires you, and supports the higher version of you. Protecting your circle means being mindful of your conversations. Words have power. If you're surrounded by constant negativity, gossip, small thinking, or fear-driven advice, those seeds can plant themselves in your mind without you noticing. Over time, they grow into doubt, hesitation, and lowered standards. But when your circle speaks life into your dreams, challenges you to think bigger, and holds you accountable, you become stronger and more focused. There will always be people who prefer the version of you that's smaller and easier to manage. They may resist your growth because it disrupts their comfort. When you rise, it can unsettle those who choose to stay the same. Some will try to pull you back, not always out of hate, but because your progress reminds them of the work they avoid in their own lives. That's why protecting your circle is protecting yourself. Your circle should be made up of people who push you to stay consistent when you feel like giving up, who remind you of your worth when you forget it, and who speak truth even when it's uncomfortable. True support isn't just cheering you when you win. It's standing with you through the struggle. If someone can't walk with you through both seasons, they don't deserve to stand with you in the harvest. Energy is contagious. If you're around driven, disciplined people, you'll naturally rise. If you're around negative, unfocused people, their energy will slip into your mindset. That's why protecting your circle is not a one-time choice. It's ongoing. Sometimes the hardest part is letting go of people you have history with. You may care for them deeply, but care alone can't sustain a relationship that harms your growth. Love doesn't mean sacrificing your peace or future. You can love someone and still acknowledge they are not healthy for your direction. Releasing them doesn't mean you wish them harm. It means you're making room for people who align with your vision. Protecting your circle is also about seeking the right people, mentors, friends, and peers who inspire you to aim higher. They will not let you settle for less than your potential. They will point out your blind spots and help you grow. They will celebrate your wins as if they were their own. Boundaries are essential here. They're not walls. They're filters. They let the right energy in and keep the wrong energy out. Boundaries prevent burnout, resentment, and distraction. Your circle reflects your standards. If you accept dishonesty or disrespect, it's often because you haven't raised your standards high enough. The right circle supports your values, respects your time, and never asks you to compromise your integrity. They will celebrate your success without jealousy and stand with you in hardship without judgment. These relationships are rare and worth protecting. Faith is the force that turns challenges into opportunities and setbacks into preparation for something better. It's the anchor that holds you steady when life's storms try to throw you off course. Without faith, growth is fragile. With faith, growth becomes inevitable because challenges no longer tell you to stop. They tell you to keep going, trusting there's a greater purpose. A woman rooted in faith knows her life is not random. Every season, the good and the painful, is part of a greater design. This belief allows her to move even when the path is unclear, because she trusts each step is leading her exactly where she needs to be. Faith gives her courage to move when logic says turn back. Faith isn't having all the answers. It's believing there is an answer, even when you can't see it yet. It's trusting that the seeds planted in discipline and perseverance will grow in their own time. Faith teaches patience and reminds you that delays are not denials. With faith, failure is not final. It's feedback. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? That shift is what keeps you going when others quit. A woman grounded in faith carries peace that doesn't make sense to the world. She can face uncertainty with calm confidence, not because she ignores reality, but because she believes in a reality beyond what she can see. Worry changes nothing, but faith changes everything. Faith fuels persistence. On days when motivation runs dry, faith whispers, keep going. It reminds you your efforts are not wasted. Faith makes you bold. You stop waiting for perfect conditions, stop asking for guarantees, and stop letting fear control you. You move forward knowing provision comes in motion, clarity comes as you walk, and courage grows through action, not waiting. Faith doesn't erase challenges, but it changes the way you face them. You begin to see difficulties as opportunities for your character to be shaped and refined. You start to realize that the battles you go through are not there to destroy you, but to strengthen you. This perspective turns pain into power and pressure into preparation. It allows you to look at your struggles and say, I might not understand this right now, but I know I will grow from it. A woman with faith knows the weight of the example she sets. She understands that her determination to keep walking in faith, even when the road is hard, becomes a light for those stumbling in the dark. She realizes that her growth isn't just about her own success, but about showing others that they too can rise above what tries to hold them down. This awareness fuels her determination to keep moving forward, because she knows her story can spark hope in others. Faith also teaches you how to let go of what no longer serves your life. It shows you that releasing something or someone isn't losing. It's creating space for what's next. It gives you the courage to walk away from things that might be good in order to make space for what is truly best. It reminds you that what's meant for you will never pass you by, and what slips away was never truly yours. This trust frees you from being chained to regret. When your growth is rooted in faith, you're able to dream beyond your present reality. You can see possibilities outside the limits of your surroundings, your resources, or even your current abilities. Faith allows you to think bigger because you're not relying solely on your own strength. You understand that the vision planted in your heart wasn't given without a way to fulfill it. This belief pushes you to prepare for opportunities before they even arrive because you trust they are on their way. Faith also humbles you. It reminds you that you are not the only builder of your life, but a co-creator working alongside something far greater. This humility keeps you grounded even when success comes. You don't grow prideful because you know your progress is not just the result of hard work, but also grace, timing, and divine alignment. This same humility keeps you teachable, knowing there will always be more to learn, more to understand. One of the most powerful gifts faith gives is the strength to endure seasons of silence. There will be times when it feels like nothing is changing, no progress, no recognition, no breakthrough. These moments can make you want to give up, but faith whispers that unseen work is just as important as visible results. Like a seed buried in the soil, you may be hidden for a time, but you are growing roots that will hold you steady when it's time to bloom. Faith makes your growth steady and lasting. Motivation might get you started. Discipline might keep you moving. But faith keeps you from quitting when motivation fades and discipline feels heavy. It's the inner voice that says there's still more ahead when everything around you says, stop here. It's the certainty that your story isn't over and your best chapters are still unwritten. When you live with this truth, you stop measuring your progress only by what you can see in the moment. You trust the process, even if it's slow. You learn to celebrate small victories, knowing they lead to greater ones. You stop comparing your path to anyone else's because you believe your journey was designed just for you. Faith is not only something you believe, it's something you live. It shapes the way you think, speak, act, and respond to life. It keeps you steady in storms, bold in uncertainty, and humble in success. When your growth comes from faith, it's not dependent on circumstances. It becomes an unshakable force that keeps you moving forward, no matter what. Celebrating progress instead of perfection is a quiet but powerful habit that sustains growth and builds momentum. It's the mindset that allows a woman to honor her victories, however small, and use them as steps toward her higher calling. Perfection is an illusion, always out of reach. Progress, on the other hand, is real, visible, and possible. It honors effort, consistency, and resilience, turning the journey itself into a source of strength. A woman who values progress knows that every step counts. She doesn't wait for massive achievements before acknowledging her growth, because she knows life is built in layers. The repeated acts of courage, the steady commitment The hours of learning, the trials endured, the boundaries held, and the choices made in alignment with her values. All of it matters. Progress celebrates the fact that you showed up, even when conditions weren't perfect. Many people fail to honor the effort they put in because the results aren't immediate. But effort is the hidden engine of transformation. The quiet work that builds the future before anyone else can see it. When you value progress over perfection, you protect yourself from burnout. Perfectionism drains you because it measures you against an impossible standard. It steals joy, fuels anxiety, and erodes confidence. Progress, however, empowers you. It allows you to see how far you've come without judging yourself for not being there yet. Every small win becomes a reminder that your work is worth it. This mindset also strengthens resilience. When perfection is your goal, a single mistake can feel like the end. But when you measure progress, setbacks become lessons. Each challenge is a teacher, each failure a stepping stone, and each correction a guide for the next step. Obstacles become tools for growth rather than walls that stop you. Progress also cultivates gratitude. It makes you pause to appreciate the effort you've given, the skills you've built, and the strength you've developed along the way. Gratitude creates a positive cycle. Recognizing how far you've come motivates you to keep going. It also means embracing imperfection with courage. Growth is never a straight line. It has turns, bumps, and unexpected detours. Accepting that allows you to take risks, try new things, and step outside your comfort zone without fear. Mistakes don't define you, they sharpen you. By choosing progress over perfection, you practice self-compassion. Women often measure their worth by results instead of the effort and growth behind them. But when you focus on progress, you begin to value the work you're putting in, the changes you're making, and the strength you're building. Your journey becomes an act of love toward yourself, not a fight against who you are. Every small win builds momentum. Momentum builds confidence, and confidence fuels more action. Over time, these small acknowledgments create lasting transformation. Progress sharpens your focus. It shifts your mindset from fearing failure to welcoming growth. It guides you to take steps that truly matter for your development and to measure success by improvement, not by meeting some abstract ideal. It also creates accountability. A woman who celebrates progress is honest with herself. She owns both her wins and her missteps, knowing both are part of the journey. This builds integrity, discipline, and a commitment to keep evolving. Progress changes the way you see success, from a final destination to a lifelong journey. It teaches you to find fulfillment in the process of becoming, not just in the moment you arrive. Each intentional day, each lesson learned, each small step forward becomes part of a much bigger story. This way of living also nurtures humility. When you focus on progress, you understand that growth is never finished. You celebrate without becoming arrogant, and you face challenges ready to learn. It fuels courage too. You become more willing to take risks because you know even small steps are valuable. You stop fearing failure because each effort still moves you forward. In relationships, celebrating progress builds stronger connections. You start to notice and honor the growth in others, encouraging them instead of criticizing. This creates an environment where everyone can learn and grow together. Over time, this mindset turns into a lifestyle. The woman who celebrates progress never becomes stagnant. She keeps moving, learning, and building. She understands that each day builds on the last, and that small victories add up to something powerful. Leaving a legacy of inspiration is the result of growth, faith, and resilience lived out consistently. It's choosing to live a life that touches others, lifts them up, and gives them courage. A woman with this mission knows her life is not only for herself. It's a channel through which the world can see what determination and purpose can accomplish. Her authenticity draws people in. She's not afraid to be herself, even if that means standing apart from the crowd. She shares her struggles and failures because she knows they make her story real and relatable. Mentorship becomes a natural extension of her influence. She passes on lessons, strategies, and encouragement, not to create dependence, but to help others rise. Her integrity shows through daily choices, not just in big moments. Her courage inspires others to face their own fears. She doesn't shy away from hard paths, but walks them boldly, showing that growth often comes through discomfort. Her leadership isn't about control, it's about impact. People are moved by what she lives, not just what she says. Her legacy continues even when she's not present. People remember how she treated them, how she stayed strong through storms, and how she kept growing despite resistance. Sacrifice is often part of her story, giving her time, resources, or comfort to help others. She doesn't do it for recognition, but because she believes in creating change. Faith remains the anchor of her journey. It gives her the endurance to push through trials, the vision to think long-term, and the courage to lead by example. She listens as much as she speaks, seeing potential where others might see limits. She pushes against complacency, reminding others not to settle but to keep reaching. She celebrates others' victories, knowing that lifting someone else up only multiplies her own impact. Every choice, every act of encouragement, every moment of perseverance adds to her ripple effect, a legacy that will continue to inspire long after she's gone. Your journey matters. Your growth matters. The impact you leave will reach farther than you can imagine. The world doesn't need your perfection. It needs your courage, your resilience, and your willingness to rise each day. Keep showing up, keep building, keep believing. In doing so, you will leave a trail of hope and strength for others to follow.